speaking of the far left flank, AOC is mad about Roe v. Wade, which is predictable, but she's actually taking it a step above and beyond. She's pushing this talking point that I keep hearing from people that is just absolutely false, that the Supreme Court justices that just worked to overturn Roe, including Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, lied, quote unquote, in their confirmation hearings and promised they wouldn't overturn Roe, and now they went and did it. So she's actually saying that they should be impeached and removed as Supreme Court justices for lying under oath to Congress. Take a listen to AOC.
Can now lie to duly elected members of the United States Senate in order to secure Supreme Court confirmations and seats on the Supreme Court. This is what we're saying.
Do you think lying at a confirmation hearing is an impeachable offense?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I believe lying under oath is an impeachable offense. I believe that violating federal law in not disclosing income from political organizations, as Clarence Thomas did years ago, is also potentially an impeachable offense. I believe that that not recusing from cases that one clearly has family members involved in with very deep violations of conflict of interest are also impeachable offenses. And I believe that this is something that should be very seriously considered.
Now, I just got to set the record straight. This isn't true. They did not. They did not lie. They took the typical non-answers that you hear in a confirmation hearing. You know how they are. It started with RBG, where they just kind of say, yes, it's a precedent. I would always respect and value precedent and weigh it against other interests in my decision. Like, they just give non-answers. They did not lie under oath.
Yeah, but you and I, when we first were talking about this decision coming down, I actually pointed this out myself because I wasn't sure exactly what they had said. I had a faint memory of them being asked about Roe and basically saying that that wasn't going to be a goal of theirs to overturn it or something like that. And so you went back and actually found the language, and I think we should actually read precisely what they said, because I understand how these kind of false memories get implanted, and I also understand that, like, they were using very precise language so as to not have to totally answer the question. And there's reasons for that, right? Like, if they were to say, I'm going to overturn Roe v. Wade, then of course everybody would be up in arms and they'd give even fewer left-wing votes. And if they were to say that they would never do that, then half the Republicans would be mad and wouldn't want to confirm them. So I understand this tactic. I do think it's part of the reason why you and I said this when Ketanji Brown's hearing was going down a few months ago. This is why these hearings have largely become sort of a joke. It's a charade. You're not going to get any new information out of these hearings. You're not going to actually learn anything. There's no reason to even expect them to be overtly forthcoming with their views or what they hope to accomplish on the bench. And so it really is just kind of bread and circuses at this point. But just so that people have a clear understanding of what was said, let's read through these really quick. So I'll read Gorsuch, and he said, Roe v. Wade decided in 1973 is a precedent of the U.S. Supreme Court. It has been reaffirmed, so a good judge will consider it as precedent of the U.S. Supreme Court, worthy as treatment of precedent like any other. If I were to start telling you which are my favorite precedents or which are my least favorite precedents, or if I viewed precedent in that fashion, I would be tipping my hand and suggesting to litigants that I had already made up my mind about their cases, which is a very fair response.
Yeah, but he's just stating that it's a precedent. That's a fact. And that it's been reaffirmed. That's a fact. But precedents are sometimes overturned by the Supreme Court. So just because a judge acknowledges that something is the law of the land or precedent does not mean they're saying they'll never overturn it. Supreme Court has overturned precedent dozens of times. Even the liberal justices on the court have ruled to, on other cases, not involving abortion, have ruled to overturn precedents. That's the thing, is that I understand why somebody who isn't really versed in legalese might have listened to these judges and gotten the impression that they were saying we won't do anything. But people like members of Congress, like AOC, should know better. They have advisors. And the thing is, if Gorsuch had actually promised not to overturn Roe v. Wade, he would not have been confirmed as a justice. Republican votes would have pulled out. So we literally know that what they're saying isn't true. And I just think it's insane that you can call for somebody to be impeached, accuse them of a crime, and just be running your mouth with no accountability or respect to the facts. And of course, the MSNBC anchor in that clip we just played is just cheering her on, not pointing out, like, why isn't he pulling up the quotes of what Gorsuch said or asking her for the specific, what did Gorsuch specifically say that was untrue, where he perjured himself? Show me the testimony, show me the line. I've asked multiple people this online and they can't do it. Are these people evasive and neutral in their answers? Yes, they are, because they have to be. They did not perjure themselves, though. Here's what Kavanaugh said during his confirmation. Roe v. Wade is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. That's just a neutral statement of fact. It has been reaffirmed many times. Another neutral statement of fact. It was reaffirmed in Planned Parenthood v. Casey in 1992, so that precedent on precedent is quite important as you think about stare decisis in this context. Stare decisis is the principle of trying not to overturn precedents all the time lest you undermine the court's legitimacy. All of that doesn't mean I will never overturn Roe v. Wade. It simply means that it is a precedent, as a matter of fact. It is an established precedent that's been reaffirmed, as a matter of fact. And I'll show that the respect it deserves if we ever do revisit it, which he would say he has. And he's just weighted it like they weigh it and decided that it needs to be overturned, even though, I mean, it's just this, there's not a direct lie there. There's not even really anything overtly dishonest there. And I just think it's, again, they're just accusing these justices of stuff. And they're not looking at the receipts of what they said, but we have it all in writing.
Well, it's not the first time they've tried to accuse justices of wrongdoing without any actual evidence, so I guess this is just a trend that's going to keep continuing on the left. But